and there is hope, because once you do change your lifestyle, it is easier. It gets easier, and it's not a thing anymore. Before, it used to be a thing. I used to cry when my family could have donuts and I couldn't. I'm not even kidding you guys. But for me now, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't want to feel sick for a week. I don't want to backtrack on progress that I've made for like how something tastes for 30 seconds. Because let's be realistic, I can inhale a donut in 30 seconds, okay guys? Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Jamie if you guys are new to my channel. Today I am finally sitting down and I'm sharing with you guys what I do to heal my autoimmune disease. This is a video that has been requested for like the last year and a half, and I've been so apprehensive to sit down and film it because, at least for me, and for honestly a lot of you guys I know, the healing process has not been linear, and I am not healed from my autoimmune disease. I am still trying to get my antibody numbers down. I am still trying to really focus on my eating patterns and my just overall health and wellness on a daily basis. And it's never going to be over. I don't think I'm ever going to have arrived, but I feel like I finally have a grip on what now I've seen results from that I can actually sit down and share with you guys. Versus for the first year, it just, I don't know, I didn't have a lot to share. It was just like, well, this is kind of what I'm trying, or this is what I'm doing, and this is what I failed at doing and now I'm trying to do again, you know. And so it just is trying to get my footing is really what I was trying to do for that first year. And a lot has changed over what I do on a daily basis from what I initially started doing. When you first get diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, you have an initial process that really is like, we need to get the inflammation down in your body, and so your diet might change. You might take supplements that you're not going to take long term. But for those of us that have chronic illness, have autoimmune disease, then you know this is going to be a lifestyle change, and so there are going to be things in your life that are going to change forever. If you want to continue to feel your best, if you want to continue to get inflammation and antibodies down, and to thrive as a person and feel like a human being. That being said, I am not a doctor. I am simply sharing with you guys what I have received as advice from my integrative and functional doctor, what he has recommended for me to do, and also what I have found has worked individually in my life. And so please seek out a doctor in your area, have someone look over your specific situation, your labs, so you can get a good grip on your individual health needs, so you're not wasting time trying all these random things that people on the internet are saying they did. And so please make sure that you go get that treatment for yourself, go get looked at, do all the things that you need to do, because your health is worth it. The first thing that my specific functional doctor recommended that I do when I got my diagnosis was to work on healing my gut. And to heal my gut, I got put on a daily regimen of colostrum. I took a colostrum supplement from Sovereign Laboratories, and I am still trying to remember to take every single day right now, even 2 years later, because it is just so good for your body. Look up colostrum. It's so good. And this is like colostrum from cows. This is not colostrum from breastfeeding moms. But just as colostrum is so important for those first few days of a newborn's life, it has so many amazing benefits from cows that we can utilize in our own bodies that helps to heal our gut. The second thing that I did was I immediately cut gluten out of my diet. Not because I had a sensitivity, which I do have a sensitivity to wheat, but gluten is known to destroy your gut lining. It just is a fact. It is not good for your gut. And it's not just not good for those of us that have autoimmune issues. It's really not good for anybody when it comes to what it does to your gut. Obviously, there are benefits of eating whole wheat things, and there's good and bad with everything, but when it comes to your gut and it comes to the American diet and the way that wheat is produced in America, I can do without. My family can do without. And so I cut gluten from my diet. This is something that was a struggle for me because I ate the standard American diet. I ate pizza and pasta and easy things, crackers and granola bars and cereal and all the things that we eat in America that are made as cheap as possible and will wreak as much havoc as possible on our guts. And so it was a huge shift for me. This was the thing that took me the longest to get consistent at. I would do really good for a couple months, and then I would slowly start backtracking until I fell off the bandwagon. And then my autoimmune symptoms would start flaring again, and then I would go, oh, I probably should not eat that anymore. And then I would get back on the bandwagon, and then I would fall back off the bandwagon again. And I have even mentioned in videos that I have done in the past that I can occasionally have it once in a while, and I don't hold to that belief anymore. For inflammation in my body, for the health of my gut, I don't eat gluten. I did not do the AIP diet where I cut a bunch of stuff out of my diet or any kind of specialized diet. Some people do have to do that. For me and my own individual situation, my doctor didn't recommend that for me. I did cut 2 other things out though that were for me personally, because I have a very high sensitivity to egg whites, I found out. And so I would eat eggs all the time. Eggs were in things that I baked. Eggs were in my breakfast. I had hard-boiled eggs for snacks. And I never really felt good after having them, but I just ate them for so long that I didn't really pay attention to that feeling. And it wasn't until I had cut them out for a good period of time, and I had eggs on vacation last year, and I had like morning sickness symptoms for a week after having eggs, that I realized, oh my gosh, this is, I really do not tolerate eggs well at all. And then the last thing that I try to avoid, but I'm not perfect at, and I'll admit, is soy. Because soy honestly is just not good for you, and it is also a sensitivity of mine as well. And so as a woman, estrogen is already an issue, and so just having copious amounts of soy in my diet is really not beneficial to that. And so I cut those things out, and I, to this day right now, am trying to focus on being very strict about not having those things. Those were crucial in me healing my gut. Fun fact, I used to struggle with yeast infections all the time, and when I started taking colostrum, they magically disappeared because it really did regulate my gut flora and help to balance things out. Eating from home, making our own dinners, this has been something that over the last few months I have really focused on, and I have seen huge benefits in my body, in my husband, and my children. Eating from home is huge. Making things from scratch, cutting up your vegetables, knowing what oils you're putting into things, cooking from real fat sources that are nutrient dense for your body. These are huge. If I could recommend one thing out of this entire video, it would be to eat from home and eat a nutrient dense diet that doesn't consist of anything that is processed or garbage for your body. Now, we all know that things, you know, life happens, and sometimes we gotta grab a protein bar or something easy, and I totally, you guys, I get that 100%. But for dinners, meal plan your dinners, make sure that you're eating from home, because not only are you gonna avoid all the extra crap, it's gonna be easier on your wallet, but you're also gonna know what's going into your body, and you're just gonna feel so much better. And so eat from home. There's a cookbook from Fallon's Table called Batch, and that was a huge turning point for me, was learning how to cook in a way that I could use nutrient dense ingredients. And that cookbook really taught me a lot and was a huge starting point for me. Now, I mean, I reference it once in a while, but it really helped to kind of give me the principles that I needed and the tools to be able to feel confident to cook in my kitchen and use good ingredients as a foundation for our recipes. The last kind of dietary thing that I did is I try not to have a lot of excess sugar, because sugar is inflammatory. I know, you guys, that it sounds miserable. I know that it sounds miserable, like don't have a lot of sugar, you can't have pizza anymore, baked goods, all the things. I know, you guys. And I know that when you are in the thick of that being the main part of your diet, it can sound awful and you're like, there has to be another way. But I will tell you that I spent a year of my life trying to find another way and consistently hitting my head up against the wall and finding out that nope, I really have to change my diet. I really have to change what I am taking into my body, and it really does matter. And I had to come to that conclusion. So for me, I have found success in doing this, and for thousands of other people, it's the same thing. And there is hope, because once you do change your lifestyle, it is easier. It gets easier, and it's not a thing anymore. Before it used to be a thing. I used to cry when my family could have donuts and I couldn't. I'm not even kidding you guys. But for me now, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't want to feel sick for a week. I don't want to backtrack on progress that I've made for like how something tastes for 30 seconds. Because let's be realistic, I can inhale a donut in 30 seconds, okay, you guys? All right, as far as supplements that I took and still consistently take, I am not on a thyroid medication. I take ancestral supplements, desiccated thyroid, and this is desiccated beef thyroid, but I have been taking that for over a year, and I can personally tell you guys that it has strongly impacted my health and my thyroid function, because I haven't been on a thyroid medication since the second month that I was diagnosed, and my thyroid numbers have greatly improved over the last 2 years of taking it, and over the last year of also implementing consistently these changes in my lifestyle. Other supplements that I take that are directly correlated to my thyroid health are selenium and iodine. Those have been super important for my thyroid to work really well. Like anything else though, you're gonna wanna monitor your iodine levels and your selenium and make sure that everything needs to be where it needs to be if you're gonna take anything extra. I also take a multivitamin just because I feel like it helps me to get maybe some areas that I'm not so great at to kind of fill those gaps, as well as a liposomal vitamin D. People with autoimmune disease most of the time have low vitamin D levels, and if you live in Michigan where the sun is non-existent for a good portion of the year, then vitamin D is really important as well. I also take a nutrition shake that I add to my daily food intake just to once again fill in kind of those gaps. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 5, I homeschool, I try to eat as healthy as I can, especially given my health diagnosis, but there are obviously certain things that maybe I might not get in magnesium every day like I should, or potassium or things like that. So I just kind of look at it as a gap filler, and the shake that I take has got like ashwagandha and other things in it that are super beneficial to my hormones and things like that. So I just take the Shakeology from Beachbody. I try not to like scream it from the rooftops because I'm not a huge MLM person, but that has worked really well for me, so I've just continued to take it over the last year. All right, as far as treatment goes, like practical things that I do on a daily basis, I use red light therapy. I purchased a little red light from, I think it was called BioLight, and it was not cheap. It was definitely an investment, but if you look into the benefits of red light therapy, they are vast, and I can use the red light on multiple parts of my body if I'm dealing with inflammation or wanting to focus on healing certain things, everything from my skin to my brain health. I put it in front of my thyroid for a certain amount of time, ideally every single day, and it helps to reduce antibodies and inflammation around my thyroid. The next thing that has made a huge impact is sleep for me, and I think especially if you're a mom or you have a very busy life, which I know the majority of us nowadays do, sleep can seem just like the, all right, well, I'll get sleep as well, you know, but I gotta do all these things first, and then once kids go to bed, I gotta do all this stuff as well, and so I'll sleep when I can. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I had a pastor that used to say that all the time, and I was like, yes, you'll sleep. No, you need to sleep now so that you live longer, because when you're dead, you're dead. So anyways, I digress. We need to get sleep. I have found that it is super important. And so that could be like a whole other video, but I have to prioritize time with my husband, time to get things done at another time during my day because I really have to keep that 9:30 window. I know, I feel so old. It's so sacred. And this is something, like I said, that I don't do perfectly all the time. But the reality of it is it comes at a cost if I'm not getting the sleep that I need. Being outside first thing in the morning and getting sunshine on my face without any kind of sunblock or anything like that, just being under the sun first thing in the morning has been hugely beneficial to my vitamin D levels, to how I feel during the day, to my mood, as well as being able to get that sleep at nighttime. I fall asleep way easier at night if I have had an adequate amount of sunshine during the day. And so those are easy things you can do. Like, it doesn't cost extra money to go outside and to sit under the sun. And there has been benefits, and there has been studies shown on the benefit of vitamin D and being outside and having your circadian rhythm on track, where you are rising with the sun and going to bed at nighttime when the sun is going down. It's got a lot of benefits to your health. And so getting that sunshine in the morning, and honestly as much as I can during the day, is really important, and I've seen a lot of benefit to it. Movement and stretching. Moving my body, not in a way that is super stressful and is gonna spike my cortisol levels, but walking, being outside and walking. I literally, you guys, will go outside and I will walk the line of my backyard. My kids will be playing on the trampoline, playing with neighbors, going on the swing. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I will just walk around my backyard. And I live in a subdivision, so I don't have a big backyard, but I will go out there and walk because I'm getting fresh air, I'm getting that sunshine in, and I'm moving my body all at the same time. I also will go on my treadmill, and I also have been trying to slowly implement strength training so that I can get a little bit more muscle mass on my body, which has its own health benefits, but movement has been really important. Initially, what I would do is I honestly would just focus on stretching. I would go outside under the sun and I would stretch. I would put my face up to the sun and I would stretch my body. I would feel my muscles move and awake, and it just felt so good. I would focus on grounding outside, and it was just so beneficial for my body, but also for my mind and for my mental health. And so movement in general, just so important. So many of us, especially I feel like if we're stay-at-home moms, we are sitting down doing schoolwork with our kids. If we homeschool, we're going from one thing to, you know, changing butts, making lunch, picking up lunch, getting ready for afternoon stuff, taking our kids to things, doing dinner, and then before we know it, the kids are in bed, we're exhausted, and we literally, even though we've been doing stuff all day, we haven't been moving our body in a way that is healing and in a way that helps us to feel good. And so prioritizing that time to move your body is super important. And then honestly, I would say the last thing that made such a huge impact to me is focusing on time set aside for my own mental health, for my relationship with God, for reading my Bible, for praying, for that whole spiritual health part of me. Is that is just such an important component to my health in general. Your mind, your body, your soul, they're all connected. And in order for us to feel our best, we really need to be fueling our spirits and our hearts with the truth. So getting into the Bible, getting into the Word, focusing on prioritizing that in my life, praying, focusing on that component is huge, because without that component, I'm strictly trying to do all of this on my own. And we all know that in our own strength, we fail. And so I have to focus on, first and foremost, my walk with Christ and where I'm at spiritually, so that therefore I can pour into the other areas of my life. I can have the capacity to be able to prioritize moving my body and eating the way that I need to eat and taking care of my children. I hope that this was helpful for you. I'm sorry if it was all over the place, but these are just honestly the things that I have consistently focused on implementing in my life. And over the last maybe 6 months to a year, I have seen the most progress in my health, in my well-being, and the things that I have found have been the most sustainable for me as a person with an autoimmune disease. So if you have any questions, if there's something I wasn't clear on, please comment down below and I can go more into detail or answer a question if you have it. Once again, everybody's journey is gonna look different and everyone's health is gonna look different and how they respond to certain things. This is honestly just what I have found has worked for me and that I have found has been the most sustainable for my life that I can continue doing and I can continue feeling my best doing as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere